the opposite of what you always were, you have to change your name. It's become a trend in America these days, morphing into something completely different from what you were founded as, but still pretending you're the old you. Finally, new rule, there's nothing wrong with not having an opinion on something, especially if you don't know what the f*** you're talking about. And if you're getting your facts from TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, I don't want to hear your hot take on asymmetrical warfare, because there's a term for someone who gets their news from Facebook. Mom.
Bill Maher has gone after so-called woke brands, criticizing their flimsy approaches and revealing why their efforts are collapsing. Never one to hold back, the outspoken comedian openly explained why so many of these companies are unraveling. His critique was harsh, straightforward, and completely uncensored. So hit subscribe and let's get started.
Stands for the Learning Channel. They used to have shows like Learn to Read and Ready, Set, Learn. Here's some of their present and recent offerings. Cake Boss, Gypsy Sisters, Toddlers and Tiaras, Extreme Couponing, What Not to Wear, My Teen is Pregnant and So Am I. 1,000-Pound Sisters and Alaskan Women Looking for Love. And that's just the shows about the Palins.
Maher's opened by criticizing woke television producers for straying from their original purpose and venturing into ideological areas that have nothing to do with their brand identity. He said that instead of prioritizing strong narratives, clever scripts, and genuine entertainment, many creators are chasing political fads they barely grasp. He noted that some shows may be acting out of fear, worried about fading into obscurity or disappearing altogether in a crowded media market. However, Maher argued that reacting out of panic isn't progress, it's surrender. Real advancement, he explained, comes from strengthening the elements that made a show work in the first place, not overtaking it with heavy-handed messaging. Rather than relying on woke themes to remain relevant, producers could evolve within their genre, experiment creatively, and trust their viewers. By putting ideology ahead of authenticity, Maher cautioned that television isn't becoming more forward-thinking. It's becoming formulaic, detached, and ultimately forgettable.
In A&E stands for arts. Seriously, they used to show The Symphony. Now they have Deep Fried Dynasty, Hoarders, Storage Wars, Ghost Hunters, and Psychic Kids. You know, for people who find the Learning Channel too intellectual. The History Channel has no history, and MTV has no music. I'm just saying, you can buy a petting zoo and turn it into a bondage dungeon, but you gotta change the sign.
Maher took aim at A&E for drifting away from what its name originally stood for, arguing that the network sidelined the arts in favor of chasing trend-based, mainstream programming. He said the channel moved away from its founding purpose, highlighting creativity, culture, and artistic expression, and instead leaned into content designed for broad commercial appeal. Maher acknowledged that the American audience is large and diverse, with a wide range of tastes and viewing habits. However, he emphasized that no single network needs to appeal to everyone. Even if audiences for art, history, and thoughtful storytelling are smaller, they are still valuable and deserving of a platform that honors their interests. By walking away from its niche, Maher argued, EN didn't truly grow, it weakened its brand. In attempting to satisfy everyone, the network ended up pleasing no one, sacrificing both its artistic integrity and its loyal audience along the way.
Playboy was the go-to whack-off magazine for heterosexual men, with reviews of movies that came out 6 months ago and a lot of information about stereos. And fiction by Kurt Vonnegut. But mostly the masturbation thing, which was facilitated by pictures of women naked. Well, in 2016, Playboy did away with the nudity. They took the out of Playboy. It's like taking the cats out of Cat Fancy. Last year, Playboy put a gay man on the cover, which I guess we're supposed to celebrate, even though it was 2021 and there's already a dozen magazines for gay guys. 13 if you count Martha Stewart living.
Playboy also came under Mars's scrutiny as he criticized the brand for walking away from the very formula that once made it famous, influential, and profitable. Ma argued that the magazine didn't gradually adapt to changing times. Instead, it reacted out of fear, caving to pressure from woke activists and shedding its identity to appear morally trendy. The outcome, he said, was entirely foreseeable. Playboy lost its cultural edge, alienated its longtime audience, and failed to offer anything compelling to draw in new readers. By abandoning what set it apart, the brand faded into the background as just another forgettable publication in an oversaturated media market. Ma noted that this sudden ideological shift didn't rejuvenate the company or earn widespread praise. Instead, revenues fell, investor trust eroded, and the stock price dropped sharply. In trying to satisfy critics who were never loyal customers, Playboy turned its back on its core supporters and paid a steep price for it.
Percent of consumers now will buy a product or boycott a product based solely on the political stance a company takes. Gen Z consumers need to know if their spermicide condemns cockfighting. Disney didn't want to get into a big pissing match with Ron DeSantis about grade school, but its employees sure did, so they had to. Now one side thinks Disney said too much, the other thinks it didn't say enough. We see this pattern over and over. We saw it with Bud Light, when they did ads with a trans influencer, and MAGA Nation thought it was a plot to use beer to turn them gay.
Ma's point lands because the US political climate is now so intensely divided that even well-known brands are navigating a cultural minefield. One misjudged message or poorly timed comment can trigger instant backlash, online outrage, and coordinated boycotts. As a result, companies are no longer evaluated only on the quality of what they sell, but on where they're perceived to stand politically. That makes a clear sense of identity more critical than ever. Ma argued that brands hurt themselves most when they abandon their foundations and step into ideological fights that offer little to gain. Political signaling rarely earns lasting trust, but it can destroy it overnight. Remaining committed to a brand's core purpose, values, and audience isn't old-fashioned, it's necessary. When businesses pursue trends instead of authenticity, they lose credibility on all sides. In a fractured culture, focus isn't a flaw, it's a means of survival.
LGBT representation in Playboy? There's a transgender teenager on every show on television except reruns of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. The same thing is going on with the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, which now celebrates all kind of bodies except, the good kind.
One of the key reasons these brands originally attracted such large followings is that they stood for something clear, whether it was a product, an identity, or a message people truly resonated with. Customers didn't support them by chance. They showed up in huge numbers because the brand sparked excitement, earned loyalty, or consistently delivered value. That clarity built trust, recognition, and lasting engagement. But once these companies abandoned the very messaging that defined them, the foundation of that support began to crumble. Rather than doubling down on what made them successful, they swapped it out for vague catchphrases and constantly shifting narratives that felt unnatural and imposed. Longtime supporters no longer recognized the brands they once admired, and as that bond faded, so did the audience. Mars's point was straightforward but cutting. People don't walk away because brands fail to evolve. They leave when brands forget who they are. When identity is given up, loyalty disappears with it.
It's a crime against humanity to have one magazine once a year that was about finding creative ways for supermodels to hide their nipples. Now it looks like it's edited by the Huffington Post. Jeez, you have every other magazine. Do you hate Dad that much? If he can't rub one out in the garage, what is he supposed to do in there? Actually sand something? This is not progress. You haven't reformed the soft-core gentleman. You've driven him to creepy.com.
Ironically, these shifts were promoted as efforts to educate, uplift, and challenge the audience's perspective, but the outcome was the opposite. Rather than feeling informed or inspired, many viewers felt preached to, patronized, and emotionally detached from content they once enjoyed. The messaging felt imposed instead of natural, transforming entertainment into a kind of lesson plan nobody asked for. Engagement didn't grow, it disappeared. Even more damaging, audiences began drifting toward alternative and unconventional platforms to satisfy interests and curiosities that were no longer being addressed. Spaces outside the mainstream filled the gap, offering what traditional media had abandoned: authenticity, entertainment, and open dialogue. Ma argued that this backlash only deepened the problem. By discarding balance and creativity, these brands didn't influence public taste, they splintered it. Rather than guiding culture in a meaningful way, they pushed audiences away and surrendered influence to voices entirely outside their control.
In the 90s, Michael Jordan famously said he stayed out of politics because, quote, Republicans buy sneakers too. And then Kanye said, and don't forget Nazis. But the days when someone could say that and keep their opinions to themselves, those days are gone. Big Brother says that having no opinion is not an option anymore. You must participate in this online circle jerk, or you will be seen as an insensitive prick who's single-handedly obstructing much-needed progress in the world. Did you post a black square? No? Well, that's why there's still racism.
Ma highlighted Michael Jordan as an example of a more disciplined and pragmatic strategy, pointing out how the basketball icon deliberately avoided political involvement to safeguard and expand his brand. Jordan wasn't motivated by ideological causes or philosophical battles. His focus was on results and building a brand with universal appeal by staying out of partisan disputes. That choice allowed his name and products to rise above divisions and connect with audiences worldwide. Ma argued that this wasn't an act of fear, but one of clear judgment. Jordan recognized that not every platform needs to serve as a political loudspeaker, and that discretion can be a strength. In a culture eager to politicize every product, celebrity, and conversation, Ma suggested there's real value in remaining neutral. Businesses are meant to serve their customers, not instruct them. Not everything needs a political angle, and when sports, entertainment, and commerce are left to simply do what they do best, they often bring people together more effectively than ideology ever could.
Which was always a day to celebrate coupledom. It wasn't complicated. Flowers, chocolates. And yet, every year now, I more and more hear this idea that Valentine's Day is also a day to celebrate being alone. Be your own Valentine. That's right, on the one day was specifically set aside to honor bonding between two people. Don't do that. Make it about the opposite of that. Be your own Valentine. Get your own cheap, stale chocolates at CVS. You don't even need to have with someone else. Yourself.
Ma also criticized what he sees as woke activism reshaping Valentine's Day and stripping it of its original purpose by redefining it as a celebration of individual identity rather than a day centered on romantic couples. He argued that it wasn't enough to overhaul television and magazines. Now even Valentine's Day had to be rebranded. In Ma's view, this change doesn't truly encourage inclusion. Instead, it subtly promotes isolation. When romance is downplayed or ridiculed, single people may feel less inclined to socialize, put themselves out there, or take the emotional risk of seeking a partner. The cultural signal shifts from connection to withdrawal. Ma warned that this trend feeds loneliness and depression, particularly among younger generations. Traditional experiences, asking someone out, dealing with rejection, and learning how to pursue relationships with confidence, are slowly disappearing. Replacing them, he argued, is a growing sense of fear and hesitation, leaving many young men uncertain about how to form meaningful romantic connections.
If America used to be an organization for boys, because girls have cooties. But now the Boy Scouts accept girls, which I guess is inclusive, but it ignores the very important need for boys to sometimes get together as boys to fart in a sleeping bag and laugh at that, which girls don't find funny. It also ignores the fact that there has always also been a scout troop for girls. You may have heard of it, the Girl Scouts.
Ma observed how, in his view, the woke movement has infiltrated nearly every part of society, leaving disruption behind. He argued that institutions once built with clear purposes are now being reshaped beyond recognition. For example, he pointed to the Boy Scouts, which now accept girls, despite the existence of the Girl Scouts. Even if they didn't, Ma questioned what would stop a separate organization from being created specifically for girls. To him, the problem isn't inclusion, it's the loss of distinction. When every space is expected to serve everyone, he argued, those spaces lose their purpose entirely. Ma suggested that this relentless push favors ideological uniformity over tradition, structure, and personal choice. Not every institution needs to be merged or reinvented. Many can coexist without conflict. At times, he concluded, the reasoning behind these changes seems so extreme that it's almost unbelievable. And that wraps up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.